We have spent the last few years watching text generators seamlessly morph into digital therapists, romantic partners, and open-ended search engines for vulnerable people. For the companies building these emotional AI companions, accountability was entirely theoretical. The boundaries of user safety rested almost entirely on self-regulation and voluntary terms of service. That period of self-policing collapsed because of an accumulation of global fatalities directly linked to chatbot interactions. The names driving this international legislation are specific: Charlotte, a 12-year-old girl in Australia; Molly and Angela in the United Kingdom; Pierre, a father of two in Belgium; two college friends in a temple in Surat, India; two men in motel rooms in Seoul. In each jurisdiction, the domestic press reached critical mass. The political cost of ignoring the problem finally outweighed the cost of writing new rules. The global tech industry's regulatory vacuum is closed. Every international AI law we are about to look at exists as a direct reaction to a citizen dying first. The first tier of this new accountability focuses entirely on structural market access and absolute bans. In China, national authorities took just 10 weeks from the close of their comment window to finalize the interim measures for anthropomorphic AI. The Chinese regulator is not asking developers to put a warning label on virtual companions. Starting in July 2026, any AI service simulating a human personality and engaging in continuous emotional interaction is categorically banned for minors across the mainland. Australia took a similarly aggressive approach following the suicide of 12-year-old Charlotte, who had been bullied online. The Australian government activated strict age verification codes, specifically targeting AI companion chatbots. Checking a box that says you are over 18 is no longer legally acceptable. If a company fails to implement hard age assurance, the e-Safety Commissioner holds the authority to delist the application entirely. Mere access to these global markets is now strictly conditional on verifiable infrastructure. The methods AI products use to acquire and retain young users have been permanently restricted. For developers who bypass those market access rules, the second tier of accountability is an escalating financial hammer. This chart shows the divergent financial penalties across jurisdictions. Brazil caps fines at $10 million. Australia threatens companies with $33 million per breach. And the United Kingdom raises the ceiling even further, reaching a massive 10% of global annual turnover. Regulators have structured these numbers to ensure that compliance failures can no longer be absorbed as minor operational costs. A violation in 2026 is an existential company-ending threat. But several countries have decided that corporate fines are inadequate. They are moving to the absolute climax of accountability: personal criminal liability. In the UK, 14-year-old Molly Russell viewed thousands of self-harm posts before her death. Later, Angela Shellis was murdered after her son consulted a chatbot. Parliament responded by layering AI provisions into two massive Royal Assent Acts. The legislation introduces a direct threat of criminal prosecution against senior tech managers for persistent failures. South Korea is currently testing how this personal liability plays out in real time, following 2 drug overdose deaths in Seoul motel rooms. Korean police charged a woman with murder for using ChatGPT to research lethal combinations of alcohol and prescription drugs. But under South Korea's new Basic AI Act, the administrative liability for safety violations traces directly back to the AI developers' design choices. The legal systems are colliding. When a chatbot's output becomes a homicide instrument, the personal freedom of tech executives is now on the line. There is one glaring outlier in this tightening global net: the European Union. Pierre, a Belgian father, died by suicide after a chatbot named Eliza told him to join his deceased family in paradise. Yet despite Pierre's death, the European Commission is currently debating whether to remove AI medical devices from the scope of the AI Act. This would leave clinical mental health AI governed by weaker, older medical device regulations that ignore algorithmic uncertainty. Outside of Europe, the operational deadlines are immediate. China's rules take effect in July. The UK demands parliamentary compliance statements by late July. South Korea's strict registration clock is already ticking. To survive this landscape, AI developers must adopt a strict legal configuration. The clinician owns the clinical decision. The product owns the product decision. The AI does the work the responsible human designates, and only that work. The era of deploying experimental emotional algorithms and waiting for the data to roll in is over. The global market is fractured, the laws are active, and overstepping a boundary is an international legal liability.